There's a place in the mountains of southwestern Pennsylvania that doesn't show up in tourist guides. Locals call it the Hollows, a stretch of winding, forest-choked land near the border of Center and Clearfield counties. The roads are narrow, barely paved. The hills roll in steep waves of pine and hemlock, and old mining roads bleed into logging trails that haven't been walked in decades. Most people avoid it, especially in the fall. The colors are beautiful, sure, but something about the air feels wrong when the leaves begin to drop. It's too still, too quiet, like the woods are listening. For decades, people have gone missing out there. Not in large numbers, not often enough to raise alarms, but just enough to whisper about. A hiker in 78, a school teacher in 85, a pair of brothers in the 90s. Their gear was often found, cars left parked, but the people themselves were simply gone. No blood, no struggle, no answers. The state chalked it up to accidents, natural causes, and bad luck. But the stories never stopped. And for one journalist, those stories were enough to send her into the forest. Her name was Lauren Hayes, 34, a quiet, methodical woman with a podcast called Rootwork, a deep dive series on Appalachian lore and forgotten histories. She wasn't the type to sensationalize anything. If anything, she leaned too far in the other direction, skeptical, grounded, always chasing records and primary sources. That's what made her disappearance even more disturbing. She arrived in Cowansville in October of 2022 with a backpack, a field recorder, and a list of 8 names. 8 people who had vanished within a 5-mile radius of a place called Oddfellows Hollow. One of them was Franklin Carter, a timber surveyor who went missing in 1978. His great-niece, Mabel, still lived in the area and had written Lauren personally. She was the one who called it the Hollows. She said Franklin left for work one crisp morning and never came back. They found his truck idling near a collapsed footbridge, coffee still warm, clipboard on the seat. No footprints, no broken brush, just silence. Lauren was fascinated. She began mapping out every disappearance. She noticed strange consistencies. Most happened in the fall. Most victims were alone. Several reported strange sounds before vanishing, distant knocking, odd singing, or what some called whispering, though nobody could say exactly what kind. Lauren booked a 2-week stay in the area and planned to investigate the land herself. She brought her recorder, a drone, and her friend Maggie Chen, a geologist who was curious about the region's sinkhole-prone terrain. They met up with Ethan Williams, a former ranger who had been working as an outfitter and guide in the region for over a decade. Ethan wasn't a believer in ghost stories, but he'd seen enough to know that something in the woods didn't feel right. They started near the old Oddfellows Lodge, nothing more than a crumbling stack of timber and stone now, but back in the 19th century, it had served as a meeting hall for miners and woodsmen. There were no trails anymore, just game paths and memory. The air smelled like wet moss and old metal. Lauren turned on her recorder and began narrating. She described the uneven slope, the rusted iron embedded in the soil. The strange way sound seemed to vanish into the trees. She walked slowly, methodically, while Maggie took soil samples and Ethan kept watch. That night, back at the motel, Lauren reviewed the audio. It was mostly ambient. Wind, birds, leaves crunching. But about 15 minutes in, a strange layer of sound emerged. Not static, not wind, something softer, whispering, so faint it was nearly inaudible. It didn't follow any language she recognized, but the cadence was unmistakably human. She played it for Maggie, who thought it might be old electromagnetic interference. But Ethan wasn't so sure. "I've heard something like that before," he said. "Years ago. Same place. It was like someone saying a name, but I couldn't make it out. Gave me chills." They returned the next day with trail cams and motion detectors. Lauren placed recorders at 5 different points around the old lodge and flagged each with orange tape. Maggie checked the ground and noted unusual compression patterns, as if something large had passed through but left no clear footprints. The forest was still and cool. No animals, no insects, just the quiet breathing of the trees. That night, while sitting around the fire back at their camp, they heard it again. A distant, breathy whispering. It didn't sound close, but it didn't sound far either. The kind of sound that seems to come from everywhere at once. Ethan stood up slowly and scanned the darkness. 3 knocks, he said. That's what it used to be. You'd hear 3 knocks like someone hitting a tree with a branch. That's when you know you're not alone. And then they heard it. Knock, 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 even, deliberate, deep, from somewhere down the ridge. They sat frozen for a full minute. No one moved. Then Lauren hit record. "October 17, she whispered. "We just heard 3 knocks. No wind, no echo, no other campers for at least 5 miles. This feels wrong." Nothing happened for the rest of the night, but when they checked the trail cameras the next morning, one of them had been knocked over. Another, set near a patch of soft earth, had captured something. Just one frame, a figure, standing behind a tree, tall, lean, unmoving. Its proportions were wrong. Too long in the arms, no face visible. Maggie wanted to leave. Ethan wasn't sure. Lauren insisted on staying. "This is what we came for," she said. "We're not imagining it. It's real." They set up one more night. Lauren moved deeper into the forest, against their advice, to place a final recorder near an overgrown culvert. She said she'd be gone 20 minutes. She didn't return. They searched for hours, called her name, blew whistles. No answer. By morning, they called the police. A full search began. Dogs, drones, rangers. Nothing. No trail, no gear. Her recorder was found wedged in the roots of a sycamore. Her pack was still near the lodge. Her voice recorder had captured 21 minutes of audio. The last few minutes were released to the family, then leaked online. It's hard to hear. She's walking, breathing, narrating. Then she stops. "Something's not right," she says. "The air feels charged." Then silence, then whispering, growing louder, then a name. "Lillian," she whispers. "I heard someone say Lillian." There's the sound of her turning. Leaves crunch. Then 3 knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Then she gasps. "It's behind me." Then silence. That was the last anyone ever heard from Lauren Hayes. They never found her. Just the tape, the pack. A single camera photo of a blurry shape, still and silent behind the trees. The investigation remains open. Official cause, missing, presumed dead. But locals know better. The hollows don't give things back. And sometimes, when the leaves fall and the nights grow long, you can hear names whispered through the trees. Names of people long gone. Names of people who never came back. If you ever find yourself walking the back roads between Currensville and Center County, and you hear something in the woods whispering your name, don't stop, don't look, and whatever you do, don't knock back.